I've been married to my current spouse for 7 years, and we share a household with his two sons, aged 18 and 13. In addition, I have two children of my own, a 23-year-old son and a daughter who will be turning 16 next month. About 2 years ago, when my stepson reached the age of 16, my husband expressed the desire to purchase a car for him. I agreed to the idea and offered to contribute financially. Given that my income was notably higher than my husband's, I felt capable of covering a significant portion of the expenses. This decision was made easier by the fact that my husband's ex-wife was uninterested in participating financially. She consistently maintained that she lacked the funds to contribute to their son's car and dismissed the notion of providing any support. Together, my husband and I decided to purchase a 2010 Chevrolet Silverado for our stepson, despite its odometer showing over 98,000 miles. We believed it would be an exciting and practical vehicle for him, and he genuinely appreciated the gesture. Jumping ahead to early June of this year, I began discussing the prospect of getting a car for my daughter, who would be turning 16 in July. This discussion included my current husband as well as my ex-husband, with whom my daughter predominantly resides. My ex-husband is financially stable and willingly agreed to share the cost of purchasing a car for our daughter. As a result, we managed to find an attractive deal on a 2016 Jeep Cherokee that we felt was a great fit. The Jeep has been at home, awaiting my daughter's birthday, and over the past week, my husband has shared his growing frustration with me. He initially dismissed it, but his agitation increased as time went on, particularly after my stepson questioned the discrepancy between my daughter's nicer car and his own. This situation reached a point where both my husband and stepson approached me about potentially obtaining a better car for my stepson's high school graduation. In moments of frustration, I can admittedly be less diplomatic, and I pointed out that I had invested roughly the same amount in my stepson's car as I had in the Jeep for my daughter. This statement is accurate. The Jeep did cost me an additional $1,500, but I didn't view it as a substantial difference. Furthermore, I reminded them that if they desired a more luxurious car, it would be worthwhile for my stepson to communicate with his mother about the matter. I clarified that my ex-husband's willingness to share the expenses was the reason my daughter ended up with the Jeep. I reassured them both that I had done my utmost to address the situation and that the differing outcomes weren't my responsibility given the varying circumstances with my ex-husband's involvement. If they were genuinely seeking someone to hold responsible, the focus should be directed at his difficult mother. My stepson departed in tears, and my husband explained that it wasn't his fault for having a problematic mother. He expressed remorse for being limited to part-time work at the shelter. I acknowledged any misunderstanding caused by my actions regarding the car, yet I believed it was a kind gesture to purchase it initially. It's also important to recognize that my ex-partner's willingness to assist contrasts with my husband's ex-partner's approach. So am I in the wrong here? I have a hobby of collecting and assembling plastic models of various military vehicles, which I keep in a dedicated room. This interest has been with me since I was 16. Recently, my partner of 8 months insisted that I reduce my collection by half, alleging that the models are linked to racism and fascism. Among my collection are approximately 55 models of tanks, airplanes, and firearms from different countries, such as the United Kingdom, the United States of America, Iran, and France. He specifically requested the removal of all French, Chinese, and Iranian models. I don't possess any political motives behind these models. They serve solely as a hobby. However, a cultural disparity exists between my boyfriend and me, which might affect our viewpoints. I'm of Chinese descent, while he is American, and I'm aware that Americans take matters of race quite seriously. I've attempted to clarify that my collection is a personal pursuit, the result of hard work, and that my admiration is purely for the visual design of the vehicles, not their political connotations. Despite my explanations, he asserts that he cannot be with someone who he perceives as having racist tendencies, and he threatened to end the relationship if I don't part with the models. We engaged in a lengthy 4-hour discussion about this matter, yet I remain resolute in my decision not to discard something I've dedicated years of effort to. It's worth noting that I deeply care for him, but I am not prepared to relinquish something that holds significant personal value to me. However, I'm uncertain about the level of acceptance these combat vehicles receive. I'm pondering their global reception and the validity of his viewpoint. Am I being unreasonable for wanting to maintain my hobby? A minor alteration. I engaged in a conversation with him over the phone to reach a compromise. Nonetheless, he took an extreme stance and insisted that I paint all models purple, even those he previously had no issue with. Naturally, I declined, which led to his anger. He accused me of deceit and questioned my affection for him. This situation is driving me close to ending the relationship. I'm a 37-year-old woman, and my 28-year-old brother entered a relationship with an exceptionally candid woman a few months back. She does possess this trait. She occasionally exhibits impoliteness and makes condescending remarks about me and the family. Although this is bothersome, my brother argues that her intentions aren't malicious. She's simply upfront and direct, and we should acclimate to it. During a celebration for my brother at my parents' house, my husband couldn't attend due to work commitments. Following the festivities, we gathered for dinner, where my brother's girlfriend remarked on the absence of children in my husband's and my life, despite our 7-year marriage. I was taken aback by her audacity, but I offered a brief explanation, revealing my struggle with infertility. When asked whose fault it was, I hesitated, but my brother attributed it to me. Feeling uneasy, I endured her gaze as she suggested that perhaps not having children was a blessing, given her belief that women over 30 might have genetically compromised babies due to age. I firmly retorted that it was none of her concern. Her response was that she was merely expressing her unfiltered opinion. In reply, I maintained eye contact and quipped, "If I sought the perspective of a jerk, I would have released a flatulence." The entire table erupted in laughter, leaving my brother and his girlfriend astounded. Shortly thereafter, she excused herself, with my brother trailing behind. Once they departed, I received a message from him, asserting that I had been unkind and disrespectful to his girlfriend. He accused me of deliberately insulting her under the guise of humor, thus tarnishing his birthday and turning his girlfriend into a family-wide joke. I remained silent, but he insisted on receiving an apology through email as soon as possible. My mother concurred, suggesting that I shouldn't have uttered those words and should have simply ignored her, considering who she was. So folks, I'm starting to think I might be in the wrong here. However, I'm not entirely certain. I'm a 30-year-old woman, and I've been in a relationship with Andrew, my husband, for 5 years. Andrew hails from a deeply religious family, and we've chosen to keep several aspects of our marriage under wraps. While we do maintain contact with his family, our interactions are limited to holidays and special events like weddings and baby showers. Their disapproval was most pronounced when we decided not to have a church wedding. This aversion was so significant that we've chosen to keep other elements of our marriage hidden, such as our decision not to have children. Andrew and I have embraced an open marriage from the beginning, a fact unknown to his family. A few weeks ago, I encountered another man at a bar. Our interaction seemed ordinary, and I didn't perceive anything unusual. Fast forward to today, we attended Andrew's sister's intimate baby shower due to the cancellation of the larger event due to ongoing circumstances. The atmosphere was tense from the moment we arrived. I felt the weight of everyone's glares. The tension persisted until a slideshow began on his sister's computer, showcasing nursery pictures and baby-related items. To my shock, there was a photo of me with the man from the bar. It wasn't an innocuous image, and anyone observing it would likely assume I was being unfaithful. The family erupted into a cacophony of accusations, labeling me a cheater and demanding to know how I could betray Andrew in such a manner. Desperate, I turned to Andrew for support, but he remained eerily silent. Despite my attempts to quell the situation, I couldn't pacify their anger. In a moment of frustration, I blurted out that Andrew and I have an open marriage. This revelation only heightened their outrage, prompting us to swiftly exit the gathering. As we sat in the car together, Andrew's anger overflowed, directed at my decision to disclose this personal detail to his family. He expressed his fears that this revelation could shatter his relationship with them. In response, I retorted, "So what? Would you prefer I uphold a facade?" The truth emerged, sparking a heated argument that persisted throughout the journey, culminating in his silent treatment. "It seems I'll be spending the night on the couch."